Let me ask you something. Why is it that the people who talk the most about their goals often accomplish the least? You've seen it. The big talkers, the loud dreamers. They post it, preach it, promise it. But months go by and nothing changes. Because here's the truth. Success doesn't come from what you say. It comes from what you do. And the more you talk, the less you do. We live in a world obsessed with attention. Social media, instant likes, fake applause. Validation is more accessible than ever. And for most people, it's irresistible. All they have to do is say, I'm working on something big. I'm about to change my life. I've got a huge plan coming. And the moment those words hit the air, people clap. They praise you. They say, wow, that's inspiring. But here's the dangerous part. Your brain believes it. The dopamine kicks in. You feel like you've already accomplished something. But you haven't. You've done nothing. You haven't taken the first step. You haven't put in the hours. You've just opened the door, invited the world in, and handed over your motivation. Because when we talk too much about our goals, something subtle but deadly happens. We trade momentum for admiration. We chase recognition before results. And without even realizing it, we've already lost. 1. The illusion of progress. There's a dangerous illusion most people fall for. It's the feeling of progress, without the reality of it. You say something bold. I'm going to start my own business. I'm writing a book. I'm about to make a major life move. And someone replies, that's amazing. You feel good, maybe even proud. But let's be honest. What have you actually done? You haven't written the business plan. You haven't opened your laptop. You haven't made the sacrifice. All you've done is talk. This is what psychologists call social reality. When you vocalize your intentions, your brain registers it as partial completion. You've scratched the itch without doing the real work. And in that moment, the urgency to act begins to fade. You feel satisfied, but it's a lie. Let me ask you, how many times have you said you were going to do something and then you didn't? Not because you didn't care, but because the motivation disappeared. You used it up. You leaked it. You gave it away. When we talk about our goals too early, it's like letting steam escape from a pressure cooker. The heat never builds. The intensity never rises. And without pressure, nothing cooks. Real success demands silence. It demands tension. That burning desire inside you has to stay protected, preserved, not thrown into the world before it's ready. Because every time you speak your goals aloud to be praised, you're trading your potential for a moment of applause. And applause doesn't build anything. Work does. 2. The science of silence. Silence isn't just powerful. It's scientific. When you keep your goals private, something interesting happens in your brain. Your focus sharpens. Your dopamine levels stay contained. You stay hungry. But when you talk too soon, when you announce your plans for the sake of attention, your brain prematurely rewards you. The chemicals that should come after the victory arrive too early. And what's left to chase? A 2009 study by psychologist Peter Gollwitzer showed that when people declare their intentions publicly, they're actually less likely to follow through. Why? Because they already feel seen. They've satisfied their ego. And the urgency? Gone. The work? Forgotten. This is why silence is strategy. Not because you're hiding, but because you're protecting something sacred. You're protecting your vision. You're preserving your energy. You're choosing long-term results over short-term applause. Think about the Prophet Muhammad during the early days of revelation. He didn't stand in the town square announcing everything immediately. He retreated to the cave of Hira. He kept it close, private, sacred. Because great missions begin in silence. Great plans need space to grow, without the noise, without the critics, without the temptation to perform. The modern world doesn't reward silence. It craves exposure. But that's where the powerful separate themselves. They understand this. The quieter you are, the more you can hear. The less you say, the more you can do. So when you feel the urge to speak, to post, to impress, pause. Let the silence grow roots. Let your actions speak later. Because science backs it, history proves it, and your soul knows it. 3. Build in silence, succeed in silence. Success doesn't need a stage, it needs a sanctuary. Because the most powerful moves in life aren't made in the spotlight. They're made in the shadows, away from eyes, away from noise, away from distractions. Think about it. The seed doesn't sprout on the surface. It grows underground, quietly, slowly, invisibly. But when it's ready, it breaks through with power. That's how you build, in silence. You put in the hours nobody sees. You bleed when no one's watching. You wake up early, stay up late, make sacrifices when the world thinks you're relaxing. And when people ask you, "What are you working on?" you smile, because you know that what you're building doesn't need to be explained. It needs to be executed. There's something sacred about building quietly. No expectations, no pressure to impress, just pure, focused action. You don't have to prove anything. You're not chasing applause, you're chasing results. History remembers the results, not the announcements. Think of the silent years before the victories, the training, the failures, the practice, the discipline. Whether it's the athlete grinding in the dark gym, the writer typing away in solitude, or the student studying while the world parties, their success didn't come from talking. It came from consistency. So don't post it. Don't boast it. Don't explain it. Live it. Breathe it. Build it. And when the time comes, let your success make the introduction. Because those who build in silence, they don't need to announce their arrival. Their results do it for them. 4. Protect your energy. Your energy is your currency. Spend it wisely. Every time you speak about your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, you give away a piece of that energy. A little bit of fire leaves your heart. A little bit of pressure escapes. And if you do it too often, there's nothing left to drive you. Because energy is not unlimited. Motivation is not permanent. It needs to be guarded like treasure. How many times have you told someone you were going to start something, a new habit, a project, a life change, and then nothing? It fizzled out. Not because you didn't care, but because the fuel was used in the conversation, not the action. The moment you say it, your mind relaxes. The urgency dies. The pressure that should have pushed you disappears. That's why silence is more than strategy. It's self-defense. It's how you protect your inner fire from leaking out into the world before the work is done. Not everyone deserves to hear your plans. Some people won't understand them. Others will discourage you. And even well-meaning support can take away the edge that was meant to keep you hungry. So preserve your energy. Write your plans down. Don't speak them aloud. Pray about them in private. Execute without explanation. Let your passion burn quietly, not publicly. Let it power your grind, not your image. Because when you protect your energy, you stay dangerous. You stay focused. You stay sharp. And most importantly, you stay in motion. 5. Delay the announcement. Not everything needs to be shared right away. In fact, the longer you wait, the stronger you become. There's a hidden power in restraint, in holding your plans close to your chest, in letting the idea mature in silence before exposing it to the noise of the world. Most people rush to announce things because they crave the dopamine, the validation, the sense that they're doing something. But high performers? They understand the power of delayed exposure. They let the world find out after the work is done. Because here's the truth. When no one knows, the pressure rises. You hold yourself accountable. You don't want to fail quietly, so you work loudly, even if no one hears it. And that invisible pressure? That's your fuel. There's something sacred about watching the results stack up in secret, one step at a time, one silent win after another, and then suddenly, you show up with something real, something undeniable. And the world goes, when did that happen? It happened when they weren't watching. It happened while you were silent, while you were focused. Announce after the work is done. Speak after the result is ready. Let your life reveal what your mouth once wanted to explain. Because if you announce too early, you invite doubt, you invite distractions, you invite noise. But if you build quietly and delay the announcement, you don't have to convince anyone. The results speak louder than anything you could have said. Let's talk about the people who kept quiet and changed everything. J.K. Rowling wrote the first Harry Potter book while broke, depressed, and raising her child alone. She didn't tweet about it. She didn't talk about it. She just wrote. In coffee shops, late at night, in silence. She was rejected by 12 publishers before one said yes. And by the time the world knew her name, her work was already undeniable. Or take Kobe Bryant. While others were sleeping, he was training. He didn't need to talk about being great. He lived in the gym. He practiced in the dark so he could shine in the light. The world didn't see the 4 a.m. workouts. They just saw the results. Championships, legacy, greatness. Think of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in the early years of revelation. For the first 3 years, the message was private, quiet, focused. It wasn't rushed. It was strategic. And that foundation in silence built a movement that changed the world forever. Steve Jobs didn't go on podcasts talking about what Apple was going to do. He built it, quietly, boldly. And when the first iPhone was revealed, the world stopped. Not because of what he said, but because of what he created. These are not just stories. They are blueprints. They show us that you don't have to announce your intentions. You just have to move. Keep your head down. Build in silence. And when the time is right, the world will notice. Not because you told them, because you showed them. What to do instead. So if you're not supposed to talk about your goals, what should you do? Simple. Work. Watch. Wait. First, work in silence. Instead of announcing, start planning. Instead of explaining, start executing. Replace "I'm going to" with "I just did." Let every day move the needle. Let every step be private progress. Wake up early. Stay disciplined. Build something real. Not for the camera, not for claps, but for your own growth. Second, watch your energy. Keep your fire contained. Let it build. Let it become pressure. Write your goals down in a private journal. Talk to Allah about them in dua. Speak to the one who can help you, not the crowd who just wants to watch. And third, wait for the right time. Don't move like everyone else. Move in silence. Move with purpose. Let the world wonder what you're working on. Let your absence speak. And when you return, you won't have to say anything. Your results will speak for you. Here's the reality. People won't believe in your potential until they see proof. So don't waste energy trying to convince them. Use that energy to become undeniable. Be like the lion. It doesn't roar to prove it's a lion. It just hunts. It just moves. It just dominates. And when it shows up, everything around it knows. So do the same. Stop telling them what you're going to do. Show them what you've done.